students. Today we are going to see the variation of conductivity and molar conductivity with concentration. Both conductivity and molar conductivity change with concentration of the electrolyte. That means concentration varies means the conductivity also varies. The conductivity always decreases. What is the variation? Conductivity decreases with increase in concentration. In both weak or strong electrolyte, whether it is a weak electrolyte or whether it is a weak electrolyte or strong electrolyte, whether it is a weak or strong, the conductivity decreases with the increase in concentration. Therefore, number of ions per unit volume kept that carry the current in a solution decreases on dilution. That means dilution. Consider this is a beaker. Here we are taking the NaCl solution. So Na plus and Cl minus are spread around the beaker. Take one volume 1 centimeter cube or like this. Concentration. We are taking 1 pinch of salt with 1 tumbler water. At that time, here more number of ions are there. If we are to add 1 tumbler of water, additional of 1 tumbler, then what happens? The ions has a tendency to be spread out. So the concentration of ions inside this 1 centimeter cube decreases. So the number of ions per unit volume that carry the current in a solution decreases on dilution. So dilution increases means the conductivity, number of ions decreases. What? Molar conductivity. The molar conductivity of a solution at a given concentration is the conductance of volume of a solution containing 1 mole of the electrolyte, which is kept between the 2 electrodes. What is that? Molar conductivity of a solution is nothing but at the given concentration does not varies, is the conductance of volume of the solution containing 1 mole of the electrolyte kept between 2 electrodes with the area of cross section A and the distance of unit length L. So this already discussed in the last class. Now delta M is equal to K into A by L. That is equal to K into A by L is equal to A. If the L is equal to 1 and A is equal to V, volume containing 1 mole of the electrolyte, lambda M is equal to K into V. Lambda M is equal to K into V. A is V, L is equal to 1, K into V, we get K into V. The molar conductivity increases with the decrease in concentration. Molar conductivity increases with the decrease in concentration. At the given concentration, that means concentration does not vary. Delta M can be calculated as the conductance of the electrolytic solution kept to the electrodes of the conductivity cell at a distance, unit distance, and the area of cross section large enough to accommodate sufficient volume of the solution that contains 1 mole of the electrode. We are taking the 1 mole of electrolyte of a solution and the area of the cross section is large and the distance is unity, L is equal to 1. Then when the concentration applicable, when the concentration approaches the 0, the molar conductivity is known as the limiting molar conductivity. Molar conductivity is called as a limiting. We take only 1 mole, no? So the molar conductivity is called as a limiting molar conductivity. 1 mole as it tends to be completely dissociates. So which limits that reaction? That is limiting molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity. The variation in delta M with concentration is different for strong and weak electrolyte. That means the variation in molar conductivity with concentration is different for weak and strong electrolyte. That is, we are going to see the first strong electrolyte. For strong electrolyte, delta M increases slowly with the dilution. That means the molar conductivity increases with the dilution for strong electrolyte. Delta M is equal to delta M naught minus AC power 1 by 2. If we plot the delta M versus C power 1 by 2, we get a straight line. Strong electrolyte means straight line. Strong electrolyte means straight line. Intercept is equal to delta M naught. That is, Y is equal to Mx plus C. Y is equal to Mx plus C. Like that. Negative slope. So, intercept is delta M naught. Slope is equal to minus A. Slope is equal to minus A. And the value of constant A for a given solvent and the temperature depends upon the type of electrolyte. Which type of electrolyte we used? That is, the charge on the cation and anion produced in the dissociation of the electrolyte in the solution depend on the cations and anions produced by the electrolyte. The value constant A for a given solvent and the temperature depends. This A and the temperature depends on the which type of electrolyte it is dissociated. Example, NaCl, CaCl2, MgSO4, etc. are a strong electrolyte. It dissociates completely to give Na plus and Cl minus, Ca2 plus Cl minus. 2 plus is its oxidation state of Ca. Mg2 plus SO4 2 minus are the oxidation state of Mg and SO4. All the electrolytes of particular type have the same value of A. All these types, this is our strong electrolyte completely dissociated in solution. No, they have a same value of A. So Kohlrausch examined delta M naught value for a number of strong electrolytes and observed the certain regularities. He noted that the difference in delta naught M of the electrolyte NaX and K, that is NaCl and KCl, for any X is nearly constant. X may vary, Cl, Br, I, its value is constant. For example, at 298 Kelvin, delta M naught KCl, NaCl is equal to KBr, NaBr. This X, Cl. Here Br, no. So, Ki minus Nai is equal to this. All these difference remains the same constant value. Similarly, it was found that NaBr, NaCl, KBr, KCl, its value is constant. So, the values remains constant if NaX and Kx. Kohlrausch law, state Kohlrausch law. This is one of the important 3 marks. What is Kohlrausch law? The limiting molar conductivity of the electrolyte can be represented as the sum of the individual contributions of the anion and cation of the electrolyte. Example, if we take one electrolyte, that is NaCl, when it is dissolved in water, what happens? It completely dissociates to give Na plus and Cl minus ions. No, that each Na plus ions movement carries the current, constitutes its participation is more important. No, so each ions has a tendency to produces the current due to the movement of ions. So that sum is equivalent to the total molar conductivity. The limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte can be represented as the sum of individual contributions of anion and cation. Example, for NaCl solution, this is the individual lambda, here total. Individual cation, Na plus, and individual anion. Before going to that, if we plot a graph of molar conductivity with C half, if we get a straight line means that is for strong electrolyte. If you get a graph that is curve means it is a weak electrolyte. In general, if an electrolyte on dissociation gives a V, that is V plus number of cations and V minus number of anions, then its limiting molar conductivity is given by number of moles into individual molar conductance of cation and number of moles into individual molar cations, that is anion. So, lambda naught plus and lambda naught minus are nothing but the cation and anion of the equivalent conductance, that is molar conductance, or the limiting molar conductivity of cation and anion, and this V plus, that is gamma, or V plus and V minus are the number of ions produced in the solution. This is for the which one? Strong electrolyte. If it is a weak electrolyte means, example for weak electrolyte is acetic acid, which have a lower degree of dissociation at high concentration. What is acetic acid? Is a partially dissociated acid. It dissociates partially to give some amount of acetate ion and H plus ions, and also the acetic acid is present. For such electrolyte, the change in delta naught M with dilution is due to increase in the degree of dissociation and consequently number of ions in total volume of the solution that contains 1 mole of the electrolyte. What is the change in the delta M naught with the dilution is due to increase in degree of dissociation. Dilution increases means the degree of dissociation also increases. That means the number of ions in total moles of the solution that contains 1 mole of the electrolyte also increases. So, delta M increases steeply on dilution, especially near lower concentration. The dilution increases means molar concentration also increases. This molar conductance cannot be obtained by extrapolating of delta M to 0 concentration. In that graph, we can't able to extrapolating to get the in strong electrolyte we can extrapolate and get the intercept. No, here we can't able to get the intercept in weak electrolyte. Because at infinite dilution, that is concentration is equal to 0, the electrolyte dissociates completely and is equal to 1. But at such low concentration, the conductivity of the solution is so low. that it cannot be measured. So at that concentration, the conductivity cannot be measured accurately. At that concentration, conductivity cannot be measured accurately. And the delta m naught for weak electrolyte is obtained by using Kohlrausch law of independent migration ion. So this Kohlrausch law applicable only for a strong electrolyte, but the application of Kohlrausch law is important. That is used to find the conductivity of weak electrolyte using strong electrolyte. At the concentration C, if alpha is the degree of dissociation, that it can be approximated to the ratio of molar conductivity lambda m at the concentration to the limiting molar conductivity. Naught means limiting molar conductivity, m means normal molar conductivity. So alpha is the degree of dissociation, no? So alpha is equal to molar conductivity by limiting molar conductivity. Now for a weak electrolyte like acetic acid applicable loss for dilution law we already studied in the last year, no? So K is equal to alpha square C by 1 minus alpha. Concentration is C. What is alpha? Alpha is molar conductivity by limiting molar conductivity. Molar conductivity by limiting molar conductivity into 1 minus alpha. Alpha is molar conductivity by limiting molar conductivity. Substituting all these, we get this one. What are the applications of Kohlrausch law? Using Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ions, it is possible to calculate for any electrolyte from the lambda naught of the individual ions. Yes, total conductance is equal to sum of the individual ions conductions, no? So, moreover, but for weak electrolyte like acetic acid, it is possible to determine the value of its dissociation constant once we know the delta naught m and delta m at the given concentration. Yes, from this, for weak electrolyte, we can't able to calculate for strong electrolyte as in the strong electrolyte, that is individual ions. But for weak electrolyte, we must know the molar conductivity and limiting molar conductivity. Then only the dissociation constant value determines the conductance. Now, electrolytic cells and electrolysis. In an electrolytic cell, external source of the voltage is used to bring about the chemical reaction. What is this? Electrolytic cell means electrolysis takes place. For that, we have to pass the electric current. Due to the electric current, the chemical reaction takes place in a beaker. That is process is called the electrochemical process. That process is called as the electrochemical process. That means by passing the electricity, chemical reaction takes place. It is important in the laboratory and chemical industry. Laboratory and chemical industry. One of the simplest electrolytic cell consists of two copper strips dipping in an aqueous solution of copper sulfate. That means we are taking one beaker with copper sulfate solution. In that, two copper electrodes are dipped into it. If DC current, direct current voltage is applied to the two electrodes, then what happens? Cu2 plus ions migrate to the cathode to get reduced, and the following reaction takes place. Cu2 plus ions in the beaker accept the electrons to give copper. Copper metal is deposited on the cathode. If at the anode, what happens? Copper is converted to Cu2 plus 2. That is, consider one beaker. Here it is copper sulfate and Cu2 plus 2 electrodes connected to the wire. That means this Cu2 plus ions in the solution passes and get deposited here. So this at anode, copper is converted into Cu2 plus. Here this impure copper dissociates to give the Cu2 plus ions. So this is the reaction. Cu gives Cu2 plus plus 2 electrode. Thus copper is dissolved at the anode. This impure electrode is anode, dissociates into ions to give Cu2 plus at the anode and deposited at the cathode. This is the basis for all industrial purposes in which the impure copper is converted to pure copper. And the impure copper is made an anode and dissolves on passing current, and pure copper deposited at the cathode. We have to take impure copper as an anode and pure copper as a cathode. On passing electric current, the impure copper dissociates into the solution and get deposited at the cathode as a pure copper. Many metals like sodium, magnesium, aluminum, these are highly reactive metals, no, can be produced on a large scale by electrochemical reduction of their respective cations where no suitable chemical reducing agent are available. That means for sodium, magnesium and aluminum, no suitable reducing agents are available for this purpose because it is highly reactive. That is, sodium and magnesium metals are produced by the electrolysis of their fused chlorides, NaCl or magnesium chloride. All aluminium, that is Al is aluminium, which is produced by the electrolysis of aluminium oxide in the presence of cryolite, that we already studied in the extraction electrochemical metallurgy. The quantitative aspects of electrolysis. What is the quantitative aspects? That is Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday was the first scientist who discovered the quantitative aspect of electrolysis. He stated that two laws, Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. What is Faraday's first law? M proportional to Q. Q is equal to I into T. So, the amount of the chemical reaction which occurs at the electrode during electrolysis by a current is directly proportional. That is, amount of the chemical reaction occurs at the electrode during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of the electricity passed through the electrolytic solution. Yes, quantity of the electricity passed through the electrolytic solution. What is the first law? The amount of the substance, commonly, amount of a substance deposited at the electrode during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of the electricity passed to the electrolyte. If we pass the more current means more amount of get deposited. That is the first law. Second law, the amount of different substances liberated at the same quantity passing through the electrolytic solutions are proportional to the electrochemical equivalent. Electrochemical equivalent, that is mass of the substance deposited, is directly proportional to their electrochemical equivalent, that is equal to M1, M2, like that. Electrochemical equivalent of the first one, this is first one, and this is second one, second one. That is, what is the electrochemical equivalent? Electrochemical weight is equivalent weight is equal to atomic mass of the metal divided by number of electrons required to reduce the cation. That is number of electron transfer. Atomic mass by, if it is a C2 plus means that atomic mass divided by 2. Al3 plus means atomic mass divided by A, that is 3. So, this is equivalent weight. What is the second law? Mass of the amount of the substance at different electric, that is different substances liberated at the same quantity passing through the electrolytic solution is directly proportional to the electrochemical, that is chemical equivalent weight. Chemical equivalent weight. Now, the quantity of the electricity passed is equal to Q is equal to I into T. By the formula, the quantity of electricity can be calculated by using the formula Q is equal to I into T. What is Q? Q in coulomb, I in ampere, T in second. The amount of the electricity required for oxidation or reduction depends upon the stoichiometry of the electrode reaction. That is, depend on the electrons. Ag plus. 1 plus is there. No, it need 1 electron to give Ag. That means 1 mole of electron is required for the reduction of 1 mole of silver ions. How many plus is there? That is the number of moles of electrons. Charge on the electron is equal to 1.6021 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Therefore, charge on 1 mole of electron is equal to Avogadro number into this. Avogadro number is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23, no? Into this value. So, this is equal to this charge of the 1 mole of electron. Charge of 1 electron is this. Charge of 1 mole of electron is into Avogadro number. And the quantity of the electricity is called Faraday. What is the electricity? What is the Faraday? The quantity of the electricity required to liberate 1 mole of the electrolyte. The quantity of the substance required to liberate 1 mole of the electrolytic substance is known as the Faraday, and it is represented by the symbol F. 1 Faraday is equal to 96,500 coulomb per mole. 96,500 coulomb per mole. And for electrode reaction, here Mg2 plus means how many Faraday? 2 Faraday. 2 electrons stands for no. Al3 plus means how many Faraday? 3 Faraday. 3 electron. 3 plus 3 electron. 2 plus 2 electron. It is obvious that 1 mole of Mg2 plus and Al3 plus requires 2 moles of electron, that is 2 Faraday. Al3 plus means 3 moles of electron and therefore 3 Faraday. 3 moles of electron, therefore 3 Faraday. The charge passed through the electrolytic cell during electrolysis is equal to the product of current in ampere and in time. That is Q is equal to I into T. That is, charge passed through the electrolytic cell during electrolysis is equal to the product of current in ampere. Therefore, Q is equal to I into T. In commercial production of metals, that is current as high as 50 amperes are used, that amount to produce this per second. So, products of electrolysis. The product of electrolysis depends on the nature of the material being electrolyzed and the type of the electrodes. Nature of the material and the types of the electrodes. If the electrode is inert, Product of electrolysis depends on the nature of the material being electrolyzed and type of the electrode being used. If the electrode is inert, if we use that is copper, that is gold and the platinum or the inert electrode which does not involve in the chemical reaction, only acts as a source or sink of electron. That means what is that? Consider this is electrode. This electron has a tendency to deposit on these rods. So it is only used as a source and a sink for electrons. On the other hand, if the electrode is reactive, it participates in the electrode reaction. That means it has a tendency to dissociate in the solution and gives ions in the solution. No, it is inert, so it does not involve in the reaction. On the other hand, if the electrode is reactive, means it is participate in the electrode reaction. Thus, the product of the electrolysis may be different. Product of the electrolysis may be different for reactive and inert electrodes. Yes. If we use the inert electrode, it gives different types of reactions and product. If we use the reactive electrode, means it gives different types of reaction and product. The product of the electrolysis depends on the different oxidizing and reducing species present in the electrolytic cell. In the electrolytic cell, which is used as a oxidizing and which is used as a reducing agent and a standard electrode. So, the product depends on the oxidizing and reducing species in the electrolytic cell and also their standard electrode potential. Moreover, some of the electrochemical processes, although feasible whether it is possible or not, and so slow kinetically movement, that at lower voltages these do not seem to take place, and extra potential called over potential has to be applied. That means very slow, so we have to give the extra potential which makes such processes more difficult to occur. For example, if we use the molten NaCl, the product on electrolysis are we expect sodium and chlorine gas. Here we have only one cation Na plus which is reduced to cathode. Na plus electron gives Na, and one anion Cl minus which is oxidized at the anode. Cl minus gives half Cl2 plus C electron. During the electrolysis of aqueous NaCl, electrolysis of this is molten NaCl. Here it is aqueous NaCl in the presence of water. The products are NaOH, Cl2 and H2. Here Na and Cl, here NaOH, Cl2, H2. In this case, besides Na plus and Cl minus ion, we also have H plus and OH minus ions in solution. Aqueous, it has a water, no, H plus and OH minus. Here Na plus and Cl minus. Along with the solvent reduces molecules water. Along with the water molecule, water is taken in excess, no. So all these are present in the aqueous NaCl. What is the reaction takes place at the cathode? That is Na plus electron gives Na, and also from water we have a H plus, no, gives hydrogen. This EMF value is this one and this EMF value is this. The reaction with the higher value of E0 is preferred. Reaction with the higher value of E0, this is negative and this is positive. So this is preferred. Therefore, H plus electron gives half H2. But H plus is produced by the dissociation of water. How the H plus is produced? Dissociation of water. Add these two reactions. Cancel the similar ions present on both sides. So H plus and H plus get cancelled. We get water. Electrons gives half H2 plus OH minus. Half H2 plus OH minus. So what is that? In aqueous solution we have a water also. Along with Na plus and Cl minus ions, we have H plus and OH minus ions and NaOH. So what happens at the cathode? Na plus and H plus also present, both involved in the reaction. Both EMF are noted, which have a higher value only preferred. H plus only preferred. So H plus is produced from water. So consider this reaction also. What is the overall reaction? Net reaction takes place at the cathode is this one. Net reaction takes place at the cathode is this one. Now at anode, the following oxidation reaction takes place. Cl minus gives Cl2. EMF values, and also water dissociates to give oxygen and H plus ions. This is also the reaction at anode with lower E0 is preferred. Similarly, if it is a cathode means higher. Anode means lower E naught value. Therefore, water should get oxidized in preference to Cl minus. However, on the amount of over potential of oxygen reached is preferred. Oxygen reaction is preferred. The net reaction is NaCl dissociates to give Na plus and Cl minus ions. At cathode, which reaction takes place? This reaction. Anode, Cl minus gives of Cl2 plus electron. Add the overall reaction, both all these three reactions. Cancel the possible Cl, electron, electron. Add the remaining. So this is the overall reaction which takes place in the aqueous NaCl. The standard electrode potential are replaced by electrode potential given by Nernst equation. Taken into account of the concentration effect. Yes, Nernst equation means EMF of the cell is equal to E naught minus 0.0591 by N log of Kc, that is product concentration by reactant concentration. So during the reaction, electrolysis of sulfuric acid, the following processes are possible at the anode. These two are takes place at the anode. Dilute sulfuric acid means reaction 1 is preferred, but at higher concentration of sulfuric acid, reaction 2 is preferred. That is, higher diluted means first one. Concentrated means second reaction is preferred in the electrolysis of sulfuric acid. Good morning students. Today we are going to see the problems in book exercise, that is first question number 4th. Calculate the standard cell potential of galvanic cell. Consider this overall reaction. Calculate the delta G naught and equilibrium constant. Equilibrium constant is nothing but Kc. Equilibrium constant is nothing but Kc. And the given is E naught value for chromium 3 plus and E naught value for cadmium. E naught, how will you calculate the here we have to calculate standard cell, no? So standard electrode potential is equal to cathode minus anode. Cathode, here this is oxidation takes place, here reduction takes place. Reduction takes place in the cathode, reduction. So cadmium, write the cadmium value minus 0.40 and here minus of minus 0.74, we get this. So we calculated the EMF of the cell. Delta G naught and equilibrium constant we have to calculate. Delta G naught is equal to, what is the formula? Minus NF E naught. How many electrons are transferred here? Consider the reaction 3 2s are 6. 3 2s are 6. So how many electron transfer? 6 electrons. So N is equal to 6 into Faraday 96,500 into 0.34. So multiplying all these values we get like Coulomb volt is nothing but a joule. Converted into kilojoule, after a 3 digit you have to put 1 point, that is 196.86. 196.86. Next we are going to calculate the Kc. Delta G naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log C. This is our formula we know. We need a Kc. Kc is equal to minus delta G naught by 2.303 RT. So minus of minus into this we calculated, no? By 2.303, R value is 8.31 for temperature 24 degrees Celsius standard. So 298. By solving all these we get this. But this is a log Kc value. This is nothing but the log Kc. We need Kc. Antilog of this one is called Kc. So the decimal, for the decimal we have to take Kc the antilog. This must be raised to the power. So this is the value we get. Now let's move to the 8th problem. What is the 8th problem? The conductivity of this solution of KCl at 198 Kelvin is this. Conductivity is this. Concentration is 0.20. Calculate the molar conductivity. Conductivity is given like this and the molar conductivity is the formula K by C. What is K given? C concentration is given. Directly we can solve these. So molar concentration is equal to 0. In liter, no, converted this into centimeter cube by 1000. So we get this one. Now substitute the formula. Delta M is equal to K by C. K value is given. C we find. So directly we can able to substitute this. So we can write this as a ohm is also called as, ohm inverse is called as a Simon. Ohm inverse is called as a Simon. So we get the molar conductivity. Now 9th problem, the resistance of the conductivity cell containing 0.001 molar KCl solution at 298 Kelvin is 500 ohm. What is the cell constant? If the conductivity of this solution at 298 Kelvin is this. So first cell constant formula is nothing but conductivity into resistance. R resistance is given and the K conductivity is also given. So directly we can multiply this. Cell constant is equal to R into K. R and this is K. Directly multiply this, we can able to get the cell constant. And the next problem is 11th one. And the next is 11th one. The conductivity of 0.00241 m acetic acid is this. Acetic acid is this. Calculate its, this concentration of acetic acid is this one. Calculate its molar conductivity. If delta m naught for acetic acid is this one, limiting molar conductivity is given, we have to calculate the molar conductivity. What is its dissociation constant? Ka. Acid no, so A. So we need to calculate the molar conductivity delta m, not m. K by C. Ka is equal to alpha square C by 1 minus alpha. This is from Ostwald's dilution law. This is from Ostwald's dilution law. Why it is the Ostwald dilution law? This is a weak acid. This is a weak acid. Yes. Now K value is given. C is equal to given in liter, converted to centimeter square divided by 1000. We get this one. And then the molar conductivity delta m is equal to K by C. K value is given, no, directly write that. C value we obtained, write that. So by solving this, we get this is the molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity is given. So we can able to calculate the dissociation constant. What is the relation between molar conductivity and limiting molar conductivity? Alpha is equal to molar conductivity by limiting molar conductivity. Molar conductivity, limiting molar conductivity is given. We can able to directly write this. So this is alpha. Alpha is nothing but the degree of dissociation. Alpha is nothing but the degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. So we get the degree of dissociation. And K is equal to alpha square C by 1 minus alpha. Alpha value we get, see this is concentration, alpha square C 1 minus alpha, we get this value. By simplifying this, we can write this as 1.85 into 10 power 5. Now we find the molar conductivity value as well as the dissociation constant, Now we are going to see the 12th problem, that is how much charge is required for the following reaction. That is 1 mole of Al3 plus 2 Al. 1 mole of, to convert the 1 mole of Al3 plus to Al, charge formula is Q is equal to N into F. N is the number of electrons. N is equal to number of electrons transferred. How many electrons? Al3 plus means 3 electrons. So N, F, what is F? 1 farad equal to 96,500 coulomb. So Al3 plus 3 electron gives Al, that means how many moles? 3 moles. Q is equal to 3 into 96,500. We can write this in this one and 2.895 into 10 power 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. So 10 power 5 coulomb. So if we want to convert Cu 2 plus 2 Cu means 2 into 96,500. If you want to convert Na plus to Na means 1 into 96,500. So this is one of the important 1 mark. How much electricity in terms of Faraday is required to produce? How much electricity? Q. Here also we are going to calculate the Q. For 20 gram of calcium from mole 10 calcium chloride. Calcium Ca2 plus ions. So Ca2 plus converted to Ca. How many Faraday? 2 Faraday. 2 electrons mean 2 Faraday. That means 2 Faraday is required to produce 40 gram means for 20 gram half 1 Faraday. We can directly convert it. If it is here it is 60 means what happened? Or 80. 2 Faraday for 40 means for 80 gram 4 Faraday into 2. So we can able to calculate. This is half. 20 gram is half of the 40, no? So half divided by 2, 1. So answer is 1 Faraday. And the next is 14th question. How much electricity is required to in coulomb for the oxidation of 1 mole of water to oxygen? 1 mole of water to oxygen. First write down the equation. That is water converted to H plus plus half O2 plus 2 electron. 1 mole converted to Faraday means how many Faraday? 2 electrons. So 2 Faraday. Electricity required to oxidize 1 mole of water to oxygen is 2 Faraday. Q is equal to 2 into F. 2 into 96,500. Multiplying this, we get this. So 1.93 into 10 power 5 coulombs. 1.93 into 10 power 5 coulombs. So next one, 15th problem. A solution of nickel nitrate is electrolyzed between platinum electrodes using a current of 5 ampere for 20 minutes. What mass of nickel is deposited at the cathode? Atomic mass is given like this. Quantity of the electricity passed is equal to formula current into time. Q is equal to I into T. That is Q is equal to I into T. That formula. So in the question we get 5 ampere. So I into T, 20 minutes, 1 minute 60 seconds. So 20 into 60 is equal to this 6000. So now chemical equation, nickel nitrate converted to nickel. So how many electrons is transferred? 2 Faraday. 2 Faraday gives this means, so 2 Faraday, what is the value? This one. So molar mass of nickel is this one. 1.93 this coulombs is equal to this. That means 6000 coulombs of charge produced is equal to this. What is this? Charge on n moles is given as Q into Nf. So this moles has a tendency to produce, this means 6000 coulomb can a tendency to produce how much gram? That is the answer. So consider this is a X. So X is equal to this into this by this. So 58.7 into 6000 divided by 1.93 into 10 power 5. Now next problem, 3 electrolytic cell, that is based on the Faraday's second law. A, B, C containing zinc sulfate, silver nitrate and copper sulfate respectively connected in a series. A steady current of 1.5 ampere was passed through them until 1.45 gram of silver deposited at the cathode of the cell B. How long did the current flow? What mass of copper and zinc were deposited? If the atomic mass of copper is this one and zinc is this one, silver is this one. Q is equal, we know the formula Q is equal to N into F, Q is equal to I into T, T is equal to Q by I. So what happens? How long? So we have to calculate the time and then the mass. So Ag plus 1 mole 108 gram. 108 gram of silver were deposited by this coulomb means 1.45 will deposited at this one. That is equal to this values we obtained. Current I is equal to 1.5 ampere. Time we can able to calculate Q by I now. So Q, we find that this is Q by I 1.5. T is equal to this. This is in seconds. How will you convert this into minutes? 1 minute is equal to 60. So divided by 60 we get this much of minutes and seconds. Second, copper. Copper Cu2 plus. Second electrode. 3 types of electrode is there, no? So convert copper. Cu2 plus 2 Cu. 2 Faraday. This much of amount. That means this 2 Faraday produce. This means this coulomb has a tendency to produce. This is into this by this. Third one is zinc. Zn 2 plus 2 Faraday produces. This means this amount of coulombs produces is equal to X. Consider that and find this. So this is equal to X and X is equal to copper deposited is equal to this one and the zinc deposited is equal to this one. So can you able to understand this one? So consider Zn 2 plus 2 electron. 2 electron means 2 Faraday. No, what is the molar mass of atomic mass of this one? This. So 2 Faraday is needed to deposit this amount means how this Faraday can able to deposit how much amount? That is our question. So we can able to calculate directly. And the last one is using the standard electrode potential values, predict if the reaction between the following is feasible or not. That is Fe3 plus and I minus, Ag plus and Cu. Give the standard electrode potential and find whether it is feasible or not. The standard electrode potential is given here. EMF E naught cell is equal to cathode minus anode. First one, write down the equation for this one. Fe3 plus I minus gives Fe3 plus Fe2 plus half I2. This is removal of electron, oxidation. This is reduction. Reduction takes place at the cathode and this is anode. So substitute the values here and find what is this. If the E value is positive means it is possible. If the E naught value is positive, therefore the reaction is feasible. If it is negative means it is not feasible. And the next reaction, Cu2 plus, this is second example is, what is the second question? Ag plus and Cu. So copper Ag plus is reduced to this and Cu2 plus is oxidized to this one. Reduction is cathode and this is anode. So given value is this and substituted we get. Here also the value is positive. Since the E0 value is positive, E0 value is positive, the reaction is feasible. The reaction is feasible. So up to this we completed the electrochemistry.